Okay, guys, I've just been notified here are the brackets currently. Let's take a quick look at this. As we can see here in the upper side of the brackets, we have Cyclin's German team there beating Flower Bunny and coming into the semifinals. They're going to be facing the Korean Myongsuk and Zone, who beat You Can't Know in Neutronics. And we also saw that Laser's team, the Polish team, beat Power and Mystic from West Coast, California, and progress to the semifinals as well, and they will be facing whoever's the victor of this last and third game of the best of three series between Lillekanin Knight and Beastyqt MorroW. It's about to start in a few seconds, and it's going to be on Isla Slaughter. So let's take a last quick glance here at the brackets, and we'll update this as soon as this next last game finishes. So here we go. We're going to be playing on Isla Slaughter, and it's going to be Terran Zerg against Terran Random. And we've seen this game used a lot. It's a great game. It's a great game that always gives great games. So I can't wait to see what both teams are going to muster up to keep us entertained here in the last game of this tied series 1-1 of the best of three. It's a do or die. Whoever wins this next game will progress into the semifinals against the Polish team. We've seen that this game, or this map rather, was chosen by Lillekanin and Knight in some of the previous series as their deciding map. We've seen Terran Zerg users use this map very efficiently. A lot of different strats you can do on here. Roach plus Bio, very strong. Bio into Muta feed, very strong. Also Muta into just pure out mech, also very strong. Just a lot of different combinations that you can use here on this map. So I'm very eager to see how this goes. And it looks like the match is going to start shortly. Having a little bit of lag issue. Some of the players here are from the European servers. And it looks like Lillekanin did drop indeed. So it was going to be a Terran Zerg 2-1 GG. Okay, it looks like it was going to be a Terran Zerg mirror match at the third one in this series, but unfortunately Lillekanin did drop. That's why the loading screen was taking so long, so we're going to have to do a Ray game right here. If a player does drop in the loading screen or the first minute, I believe, in the game, there is going to be a Ray game. I think those are the rules. So let's get into this game here. Also, as usual, if there's any issues with the audio and whatnot, let me know. It's not unseen that I accidentally mute myself during the cast. While we wait for the players to reload, I'll just put up the brackets one more time here. Take a quick look. These are the brackets currently. I believe I've also heard that the other semifinal game that's currently going on is 1-1. And just a reminder, this is the last game of the series. Lillekanin, Knight, Beastyqt, and MorroW are 1-1 right now. Bass just sent me this overlay, who's also the sponsor of this tournament. Shout out to him. Great, thanks for sponsoring this tournament through the support of the 2v2 and team game community on the NA servers and the European servers. All right, guys, who do you guys think is going to win? We got some MorroW fans in the chat here. I know MorroW is streaming this live, so if you want to check it from his perspective, I'm just waiting until the other caster spectator gets in here And I'll keep the brackets up just a little bit longer. I'm really curious to see what both teams are going to pull out in this deciding match here. I remember in the LRKT 2v2 tournament, Lillekanin and Knight in the finals with the Koreans pulled out some last resort builds that they had prepared for the finals. And they were one game short of getting eliminated and one game short of passing into the next round. So they might just use everything they have right now, all their aces in terms of their build orders and strategies and whatnot. But it's really hard to do it against a turn random game. So I'm going to take down the overlay. I'll update you guys as the game progresses if I get any updates. The game has started. This is going to be on Isle of Slaughter. And we see already here for the top team that Beastyqt, the random player, did spawn as Terran. And his ally MorroW, the European red, Swedish red Terran, against the bottom team Lillekanin, Danish Terran in green, and his ally Knight, the teal Zerg. So this is the first game in the series that we've seen that is not going to be a Terran-Zerg mirror matchup. Instead we have a Terran-Terran. So this is going to be really good. Isle of Slaughter favors both Terran-Zerg and Terran-Terran. Both comps excel on this kind of map. There's these destructible rocks right over here in the middle that really prevent you from that early harass. So it's like an S shape, and it's long distance for links to traverse. But at the same time, Reapers can easily just jump in and out of these ledges, and there's lots of different openings here between the natural and the main for the Reapers to hop in and out. So I'm expecting at least some Reapers coming in here from the Double Terran team. And we're going to see what's going to happen here. I'm sort of going to bet on the fact that MorroW and Beastyqt are going to have a one-up in terms of just general sturdiness of mechanics and nerves, I guess, in this kind of setup here. But at the same time, Knight and Lillekanin have proven again and again that they know what they're doing, and we're already seeing here the gas extractor trick. And this is indicative of Lillekanin's infamous 2 racks with reactor build, or it could be something else that we haven't seen just yet. So let's take a look here at what's going to happen here. We're already seeing no second gas coming down here, which is usually characteristic if you're going for that double racks reactor play. And we're going to see in a second here if he opts to, what he's going to do here, if he's going to cut the orbital and make another racks. I'm not seeing the second racks come down, so this could just be a 1 Reaper into a fast expand, but having a Zerg give him the gas for that slight faster expand so that he can still keep up in terms of the Hellions, just in case the Terrans do something like that. This must be a research game map. Oh, never mind. Look, just strike that. He is going for this European new game style that we've seen recently on the ladders in Terran-Zergs against Terran-Terrans, and it's this 2 racks with 1 reactor, and you get the second gas, and your ally assists you here. Sometimes you get the second gas, sometimes your ally assists you, and this is going to be strong because it sort of counters in case the opponents go for very Reaper heavy, because you're going to get 3 Reapers out during the time when they get just barely 4, but they have the defender's advantage here. So by the time the other opponents get like 6, you're already on 6 as well, so you can fend off in case. But if we look at the top right now, it looks like instead Beastyqt just often go for that 1-1-1, getting a second gas, going to go for some Cloaked Banshees. Excellent choice here against this kind of play. And I'm really wondering what's going to happen. I don't think these Reapers are going to commit too much. They're just going to be for scouting purposes and to delay any kind of tech choices. You really want to know what's happening here. Don't want to waste scans, but you do want to know in terms of the tech choices. And we see here MorroW going for a second rack. So he's going a more safer 1 racks into a second racks after the orbital. So it's a more delayed Reaper opening, but it's going to be economically more heavy. Little does he know, though, that Lillekanin is getting fed his second gas, so he's going to have more Reapers and isn't going to be behind as much as the top team might think in terms of his general progression of his command center and then his future tech. And we're already seeing here now the Reapers coming down here, also a little scout here. This could be like a proxy of some sort. This could be really big for later. We'll keep an eye on that. And the Reapers coming in here just snooping around. It's generally very good to just check the ramp, to see what is here. You know, what kind of structures are there. You don't want to just pop up here, because who knows if there's enemy Reapers, or like who knows if there's a mine here or something like that. And it already pops up in the first mine. It takes a hit on the Reaper. Very good job at splitting up the Reapers just in case there was some kind of threat there. So that's being averted here. And this interesting SCV still not doing anything. I'm really curious to see what MorroW has in store for us in terms of that SCV. If we look at here real quickly, we see that the Zerg is settling down into lair play. He's not making any links. They feel comfortable with what they've scouted in terms of aggression. They realize there's a potential here of a 1-1. In fact, we do see some factory going down here. He's going to have to get a mine or something and crank out some Marines that he is doing right now from this reactor with combat shield. This is probably just to avert the Banshee, the Cloak Banshee that's imminent, because he doesn't really need stim just yet. They're not really going to plan to do any kind of aggression. Instead, they need to be defensive. He does scan to confirm that it is a Banshee. They want to make 100% sure it is a Cloak Banshee. I think it's because the Zerg did not want to put down his spores just yet. He was waiting. Do I need to put the spores? I want to cut every edge possible to be able to get my lair tech going. And instead of going mutas, which would have been an interesting choice, he does decide to go for that strong bio plus roach play that we've seen on this map, where you break down this rocks and you sort of start waltzing out around the 9.5 minute mark. And the Banshee's coming in here for MorroW, and it takes a few pot shots, but 2 queens in the spore are ready, so it's already going down to half health. And he's coming flying in here, doesn't see a 4th gas. It's a little bit early for 4th gas muta, so it's hard to say. He does see that there's a lot of bio here, and he's almost in range of the roach. He's probably going to see now that it's roach, so he knows, okay, it's no muta. I don't need to even worry about this. It's probably just going to be standard Lillekanin, a knight, bio plus roach timing here. And the starport is done, so he's going to full scout on the extent of the tech of Lillekanin. This is going to tell MorroW exactly what stage of their push they're at, and he's also patrolling here with his SE, so it wasn't for any kind of cheese or proxy, it's just to assert the third. Getting the third was going to tell him, okay, if you're getting a third, you want those gases early, so you're probably going to go more for muta. And instead, they realize this is going to be a 2-base timing, and they're already working down on this rock here, but this actually could play against them, because MorroW here, he doesn't have combat shield ready, and by the time they move out, stim from Lillekanin might just be barely finished. His combat shield's finished, his medivacs are going to be producing. Medivacs a little bit late. That Banshee managed to delay just a little. The top team is deciding to go for a super aggression. And I don't know about this. Right now, at this stage of the game, we're at a point where the top team doesn't really have the unit comp to face bio plus roach. So they're just going to hear but 2 queens in the spore are ready, so it's already going down to half health, and he's coming flying in here, doesn't see a 4th gas. It's a little bit early for 4th gas muta, so it's hard to say. He does see that there's a lot of bio here, and he's almost in range of the roach. He's probably going to see now that it's roach, so he knows, okay, it's no muta. I don't need to even worry about this. It's probably just going to be standard Lillekanin, a knight, bio plus roach timing here. And the starport is done, so he's going to full scout on the extent of the tech of Lillekanin. This is going to tell MorroW exactly what stage of their push they're at, and he's also patrolling here with his SE, so it wasn't for any kind of cheese or proxy, it's just to assert the third. Getting the third was going to tell him, okay, if you're getting a third, you want those gases early, so you're probably going to go more for muta. And instead, they realize this is going to be a 2-base timing, and they're already working down on this rock here, but this actually could play against them, because MorroW here, he doesn't have combat shield ready, and by the time they move out, stim from Lillekanin might just be barely finished. His combat shield's finished, his medivacs are going to be producing. Medivacs a little bit late. That Banshee managed to delay just a little. The top team is deciding to go for a super aggression. And I don't know about this. Right now, at this stage of the game, we're at a point where the top team doesn't really have the unit comp to face bio plus roach, so they're just going to hear stall with his Banshee. They're going to be like, we see what you guys are doing. We see those double evo chambers. You're trying to go for a hard 2-base push here, and we're just going to stall you and make some defense. And I would like to see his bunkers. There they are. They're the bunkers. And it might be a little bit too late here for those bunkers. I'm a little bit worried here for the top team. Stim's not going to be quite done. It's at half, and the medivacs are nowhere. We saw in the series against Kyo how going too early when you don't have the medivacs can be really a no-no. And look at this. The perfect surround here, the concave, the roaches, it's really hard to figure out who's going to win. And MorroW pulling the SVs, he knows, yes, we have more units, but our units don't scale as well as theirs. I got to pull in some of these SVs, and all his units now down into the red. His stim is done. He doesn't have combat shield in the way, but both Terrans getting their medivacs out. Lillekanin's just finished and popped out right now. Again, I was wondering if maybe the bottom team could have just waited a few more seconds before those medivacs have popped up. And it's going to go now into mid-game as both teams sort of try to feel out each other's strengths and where they are at right now in the tech and eco progression. We're already seeing here the factories coming down, and this is going to be pretty scary because Mech plus Bio on this map against Zerg Terran, and Zerg doesn't have a third base yet. Ooh, this is going to be really hard for the bottom team if they don't really get a sucker punch. They did kill a lot of the SCVs here, but that's on the Bio player. The Mech player still has his gases going, but his set range is actually not that big either. Hold that thought. Here we got the push up the ramp. MorroW desperately trying to reduce the surface area to get better surrounds here, but that Roach comp with that +1, some players like to get the +1 armor because it synergizes better with the medivac heals, but doesn't really matter here. One tank is all they really have to defend. It's going to draw to the line. So many medivacs here healing, and not enough bio units here for the top team. MorroW is struggling to get any kind of units here to reinforce this. Bio plus Roach timing is so strong. You think you fend it off, and then come wave 2, and it's just as devastating. He's going to have to sack this natural. There's almost nothing mining at this stage here. It looks like the Lillekanin plus Night Team here taking the upper hand. The SCVs are being pulled to the upper hand. Look at this. All the SCVs coming down here. This is like the SCV march. The bros have been pulled. Tank and Hellbats in the back, and a few Marines being healed. Trying to get the surround going, trying to get as much damage as possible. And we're already seeing here, I'm not exactly sure why he pulled those SCVs. They almost had those units pincered. I think they want to save as many SCVs as possible and just wait to leapfrog the tanks here. And the units are almost cleaned up, but these Roaches, +2/1 Roaches with the medivacs healing them, so resilient, so strong, and more Roaches coming in here to just start whittling down this force here on the natural of Beastyqt, and he's forced to lift up. Their economy is on completely in shatters here, and I don't know what to say, guys. It looks like I was really worried for the bottom team because they didn't capitalize on their 2-base timing, but it just shows how strong these synergetic combos and this 2v2 meta is. You gotta know this. You gotta know that on Isle of Slaughter, Roach and Bio timing is so strong. You gotta get that tank out earlier, those bunkers out earlier. I've seen some players even struggle defending with 4 bunkers. So, I mean, props to both teams here. It's not over yet, but the top team is definitely on the backhand here. They gotta make something happen. These tanks here don't really have a lot of support. They can't leapfrog well enough, and Knight here getting his third. This SV here is still patrolling, knows that they don't have third, but there's plenty of other places where the bottom team could have expanded towards. Let's look at the Harvester count here. So a head lead for the bottom team. Top team is just really struggling, and I'm not exactly sure what the top team can do here. 1 second, guys. Okay, so we're back here, and I'm just really impressed. Knight timing, I was really skeptical when I saw him move out without stim of his ally, without the medivacs, but he knew what he was doing here. He knew that his upgrades were hitting, their timing window was open, they needed to hit right then and there, and it's true that it looked like the top team had a lot of units, but remember, a lot of those were like Hellions, Marines without medivac support, and only with 2 medivacs coming later on are not going to be able to heal out the Bioforce. So the first wave just whittled them down, and the second wave just delivered the punching blow. Looks now here like MorroW is tuning into sort of passive mode. Probably both players here are sort of in their minds are talking to themselves and to their allies. They're just saying, like, how do we let this happen? We saw exactly them coming. We had the Banshee scouting. We knew exactly what was going on. How do we let them just sort of waltz in here? And yet it did happen here. So he's defending now from these drops here. We have the sensor tower for the mech player because he's less mobile, and some turrets over here just in case Lillekanin tries to drop. But Lillekanin, he just wants to get exposed. He just wants to macro up. He's completely satisfied with just pushing the advantage further here. And I see someone in chat is trying to get the brackets. Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. I was trying to copy the link in, but I didn't have it. I see All-in-One Tool did so. Thank you very much for doing that. I'll give you guys an update on the brackets as soon as this game is over, and it's the last game of the best of 3 series. They're tied 1-1. Whoever wins this progresses to the semifinals and will be facing the Polish team of Elazor. We got a great map presence here for the bottom team. Their creep spread is all over the place. The top team is going to need a miracle to pull ahead here. We have some Vikings here patrolling just in case there are drops. I mean, already the thought of knowing, this is the problem with high-level players, they can fall in these psychological mind traps. Just knowing that there's so much bio and medivacs on this side just puts them on the defensive. They're so scared to try anything risky with these tanks to try to sneak in more command centers or whatnot. It's the first game I've seen where Knight's Overlord is not over the third and checking what's going on here. But they can sense it. They can sense this overwhelming map presence around them, putting the psychological pressure that they just do not feel comfortable doing anything. And there's really little they can do right now, except for just turtle and hope that the bottom team makes a mistake. But right now, Knight has brought in the Hive tech. The Vipers are ready to pick off the tanks, and he's trying to get a good front line with his roaches. Not an exact perfect spread there, but they have such an overwhelming force here, and he just drops all those blinding mist clouds over all the tanks, and in comes the stim, and they're just A-moving into this, and the top team must be scratching their heads and wondering where they made the game-breaking mistake. It's hard to say, guys. So GG's. Looks like Team Lillekanin and Knight are going to take this third game here and progress onwards to the semifinals. It was a good series, and it took a lot of guts for a 2v2 team to get Terran random. I think they were just going for risky strats, and have paid so far. They paid off around this tournament, but against someone as experienced as Lillekanin and Knight in terms of the 2v2 meta, it was a rough battle. So GG to both teams, and good luck to Knight and Lillekanin, who are going to be progressing shortly.